I'm going to start by showing you what products I used prior to curling my hair. So last night I shampooed, conditioned, I put in these four products that I'm going to show you. None of them are, they're not like brand, they're not all one brand, so sorry for that. Okay, so the first product, and this is going to be reversed because I'm using the forward-facing camera on my phone because that's how legit I am. This is the Surface brand. The product is called Bliss Smoothing Cream. So I use this because my hair is dry and kind of frizzy. So even though I'm curling it and I don't want it to be like heavy and weighed down, my hair is coarse enough and frizzy enough that this doesn't cause a problem with the curl. If anything, I need it. So I put this in no real specific order. I put this in, I put 4 drops of the Aveda Dry Remedy oil, which I'm obsessed with. Any normal person should not use 4 drops of this, so 2 drops would be more than enough. And working from the bottom up, like don't put this in your hands and on your head. That would be very greasy and not attractive. So this actually, it says apply 2 to 4 drops. So 4 for people with long, thick, coarse hair, 2 for people with like more like medium, I would say nothing for people with thin hair. So Bliss styling cream from Surface, Aveda Dry Remedy drops, and I put a couple of squirts of the OI all-in-one milk from Davines. This is like a leave-in conditioner. I have extremely dry hair, so this is probably overkill for most people, but if you have coarse hair, dry hair, then this is nothing out of the realm of normal. If you have more like average hair, like fine to medium hair, I would suggest using just throwing out a random product. Femollient from Aveda is amazing. And that's kind of like a universal product. It can fit anybody, but that would be a really good product to use prior to curling. Has a little bit of hold, a little bit of volume. And then lastly, I use dry shampoo. So on clean hair, this is apparently the new thing to do, so I've learned. And I've seen it work now. So I spray this all over my hair right after I dry it when it's clean. And it helps to prevent your hair from even getting oily to where you need to like layer this on to try to absorb it. It like fights it from the beginning. So the result is better. So these 4 things, dry shampoo goes on last before you curl, and then Surface, Bliss, Davines OI all-in-one milk, and Aveda Dry Remedy oil. So those are the products before. The only other product I'm going to use at the end is the Aveda Air Control. This is the holy grail. It is dirty. It is well loved. This is the best flipping hairspray on the planet. It will choke you. You will be sneezing after you use it, but it smells amazing and it is worth all of the snot on your face because there's nothing like it. Do you see how passionate I am about that? I am extremely passionate about air control. These other products are great. This is amazing. Go buy it. Okay, so that's what was done. That is the foundation. I want to talk about what tools you need in order to achieve the look. Flat iron and a curling iron. Not just any curling iron and not just any flat iron, but a good flat iron that's not going to singe your hair off of your head. This is the Nano Titanium by, I don't know if it's Babyliss, Babliss. I've never known how to say that. Nano Titanium by Babyliss, let's just call it. And this is the Hot Tools curling iron. I have a few of them, okay? They are the best. They are not expensive, they are perfectly reasonably priced, and they are the bee's knees. So if anyone's looking for a curling iron, this is the brand, Hot Tools. Their packaging is black, gold, and purple. You can't miss it. They sell it like everywhere pretty much. This is 1 1/4 inch, this curling iron. This is my favorite size curling iron. It's small enough that the curl holds, but it's not like ringlety prom curls. So this is my go-to if I'm gonna curl my hair. If I want it to last a really long time, I'll even go down to a 1 inch barrel. But these are the two that I use most often, 1 inch and 1 1/4 inch. These are the best. If your hair is from your, you know, like collarbone and up, do 1 inch. If it is below your shoulder, your collarbone, and longer, I would do 1 1/4 inch. So that's what I'm using today, 1 1/4. These are the best. Do not waste your time with this ridiculous thing. I bought it because I had to try it. It does nothing. Nothing. I literally don't know the purpose of it. Maybe if you had super curly hair and you were trying to like make it into less curly, like more like wavy, maybe then. This serves no purpose though, seriously. This one's nice. This is 1.5 inches, I think. Yeah. I don't know, I'm going into all this on curling irons right now, but I think that people, when they want waves, they think, let me get a bigger iron. But in fact, all they'll get is waves for 20 minutes and then they'll fall out. So even though you don't think that you want to use this tiny curling iron, you do. This one is okay, but don't expect your hair to hold the curl for more than like 12 hours because even that is pushing it. So if you're looking to buy an iron, pass up on these and do 1 inch to 1 1/4 inch. Okay, that's all you need. Okay, so moving right along. So I'm gonna start. What I was thinking would be maybe helpful, good thing I shaved, is not just doing a video on how to curl your hair, but doing a video on how not to curl your hair. That's how we're gonna step it up, guys. Because I feel like showing you how to do it is one thing, but showing you how not to do it is another. And I think it'll help people to see the way that they're like naturally inclined to try to curl their hair and to see how it doesn't look good compared to how it is supposed to look. So that's what I'm gonna try to do. Okay, so other than what I listed, you just need a clip, or what I said, you just need a clip for your hair. So the way that I do this is I just take a section from, you know, the base of your hairline. Let me pull my hair up. I just come up to like mid-ear and just section out the first section. And then pin all this up. All right, so you're gonna start with your first section. Let me first show you how to curl your hair. All right, so I'm gonna do this side. This side will be the happy side, this side will be the crappy side. So first thing first, you want to curl away from your face. So you wanna start with the tongue, I think that's what that's called, this piece, the clamp, on this side. So it's what's gonna clamp and it's gonna curl the hair away. And you wanna clamp it in at the root. So the idea is you're not putting it in down here and curling up. You're putting the iron in at the scalp, clamping it, turning it one rotation so that the hair is wrapped one time around the iron, right? I know this sounds really like, oh my God, how could curling hair be so, like, particular? It is. If you wanted to look the way that I curl my hair. All right, so you hold it for a second. You're gonna press a little bit to relieve that clamp, pull it down, and then you're going to curl it back up. So you're just feeding the hair through, leaving the bottom out. And I'll show this again, so it's not like the only chance you're gonna get to see that. But I want you to see the difference when I do the other side. So I'm lifting the clamp a little bit, pulling the iron down, and curling it back. Now I'm gonna leave this bottom, what do we call that? 2 inches? It's a little hard to tell, I'm looking into the phone. 1.5 to 2 inches out. All right, so now all the hair is wrapped, just that little tiny bit is left out. I'm just gonna let it sit there for a second so that everything gets evenly heated up. The nice thing too is when you start the curl in at the root like that, you get lift at the root. It's not like hanging flat and then curls at the bottom. You have even volume. Okay, so that's what it's gonna look like. That's not what it's gonna stay like. Then, one option, you don't have to do this, but I do like the way it looks, and if you need a haircut, you'll really appreciate this. Like, I really need a haircut badly. So my ends look like they were chewed off by squirrels. So you could just leave this like this. It will look fine, but it will look better if you take that little tail end piece and you just one pass with the flat iron. That's it. That's all. I learned that from another girl, fellow hairstylist on Instagram, and I really, really like the way it looks. I'm gonna leave it curled like this though, because I want it to cool when it's tightly curled. That way it'll hold better. Okay, so now I'm gonna show you on this side one of the ways people curl their hair, and it doesn't look very good. Just grab the hair wherever, facing whichever direction, curling it towards their face away. They don't really pay much attention. So most people want to go like this. This feels so weird to even do. So curling from the bottom, like I legitimately didn't think this part through. Okay. And then they want to curl up like this. And then they wait. That's probably good. Okay. Do you see the difference? That's a big difference. Okay. So that's going towards my face. How else do people like to do it? Most of the time I hear, so let's do one away, but we're still gonna this one will start halfway. How's that? Start halfway. This is another reason why I personally don't think hot rollers I don't like the result of hot rollers, because no matter what, it always ends up like this, because you have to roll from the bottom all the way up, and inevitably the bottom is going to get all the heat and the top is going to be like me. Okay, so that's halfway, which is going to be a little bit better, but still don't like it. Okay, so I'm gonna leave that. Let's do the next section. So I just usually will part my hair either way. That way when I drop this section down, it doesn't get mixed in. Okay. And I'm just gonna take another section like I did the first and make sure it's a manageable thickness. Like, you don't want the section of hair that you're pulling down to curl to be any thicker than the thickness of your curling iron. So this is 1.25 inches. So you don't want your section of hair to be any thicker than 1.25 inches. Not that you need to like bust out a ruler, but just as a rule of thumb, if you try to do a big section, it's just not gonna look good. The heat won't evenly get dispersed throughout the hair, and the result won't look very good. So in general, you want your sections to be somewhere in the same general thickness of the iron. So this is like an acceptable amount of hair. Okay, so let's do another, well, I'll do another crappy one just so you get the full effect. Okay, so we're gonna So there's one more of these godforsaken prom curls. Okay, good. So now, let's do a couple more the other way. Okay, so curling away from your face, starting with the clamp at your face. That's the best way to remember it. So you want it to be towards your face. Pull the hair out from your head, slide the iron all the way up to the top, and make one rotation so that the hair is wrapped around one time, leaving all this out. Give it a minute, pause. Then press the little clamp to release it a little bit and slide it down like an inch and roll it back up. Let that sit for a second. It'd be easier too if you hold on to this tail, just so it doesn't get caught up or you don't get it stuck under your finger. Release a little bit, slide it down an inch, and roll it back, leaving this little tail out, 1.5 to 2 inches. And then we'll let it sit. Sometimes it's easy too if you can grab the next section so that when this one falls out, you're just boom, ready to go. I would say, I think that the key to getting this, learning how to curl your hair or whatever this way, any way that's different from what you normally do, don't do it on a day that you're like about to run out the door. Don't be like, yeah, I'm gonna try that curling thing this morning before I run out for work at 5:30 in the morning. Don't do that. Because you're gonna get frustrated, annoyed, you're gonna run out of time, and you're gonna be like, this sucks, I'm never doing that again. Clamping it in, feeding it down an inch, and letting it sit. Yeah, so do it on a random day, like I'm doing it right now when my kid naps. Just give yourself some time where you don't feel pressured, you don't feel rushed, and you can actually like try to figure it out. Released a little bit, an inch, and rolled it back up. I'm doing this really slowly. You don't have to go this slow, but I just want you to like get it. And then usually I'll do whatever that section is, then I'll go back in with the flat iron and smooth out the end. So I'll do that in a second. I hope this is helpful. And this, when you do it this way, because you don't have all this curl at the bottom, it's not gonna just pull out and like all this weight is right here just pulling it out. Because the curl is even and it starts at the root and it goes all the way down, it's more evenly dispersed, it'll hold longer because of that. So you can get usually a few days out of it depending on your hair type, but okay, let that one go. Yeah, one more little section. It works easiest if you divide your hair down the middle and the back, down the center, and work on each side, from the front to the middle, from the front to the middle and the back. That way you don't miss any hair. You just kind of have to find your little groove, how you can be organized about it and not lose your spot and have, you know, long pieces that never got curled. So I pressed the clamp open a little bit, fed the hair through an inch, rolled it back up. About to do the same thing, a little tiny bit more, leaving out that bottom little tail. You can really start to see the difference in these curls, which is what I was hoping. Okay, so there's that. Now I'm just gonna quickly smooth these curls out. And because you leave them kind of still in their little curl clump, that's what we'll call it, when you leave them in that little clump, then it's easy to find where you need to smooth out. Okay, so now that I'm about halfway up, I'm gonna go ahead and take these. I have little baby hairs, so if you have little baby hairs, now's a good time to attack those. These hairs just are like postpartum freak show hairs. So I pull these kind of forward like this, put the iron in again at my scalp, and I just quickly, that's it. Again, the bottom doesn't go through. You just clamp it in at the scalp, let it sit, and out. That way you don't get a curly Q right there. This hair. Dear God, having babies really just puts a hurting on the hair. All right, I'm good with that. I don't usually hit that with the flat iron. I don't really think it needs it. That hair is already compromised, so probably doesn't need any more heat on it. Okay, so I want to make sure, yeah, you can see. All right, so come up about 1.5 inches on either side. You just kind of draw like a horseshoe around. Okay. All right, now I've got all this hair sectioned in the front, so now I'm just gonna pick up this section that's laying on top of it, and I'm gonna divide it in the middle and bring it forward. You can even let that go back. So now it's very clearly separated. Okay. Just however you can do it to keep it the most organized so you don't get all irritated feeling like you missed pieces. So the pieces around, like from your ear forward and on the top of your head, those are like the important pieces. So if you're in a rush, if you're gonna skimp on anything, is that my pocket? What's happening there? If you're gonna skimp on anything, skimp on the bottom, don't skimp on the top. So pretty much from where I'm at, from here, like the recession of your hairline up, that's the important part. Everything else is like, whatever. Just make sure you get from your ear forward and from here up really good. So take the time there. How much is that? A little bit. The lighting is brutal in this bathroom. And it's hot. Okay. That one's it. On to the next. Another section of equal size. I promise you, if you feel like, oh my God, I'm taking such small sections, this is gonna take forever, take smaller sections than bigger ones. The bigger section you take, the more times you're gonna have to keep heating it and reheating it and it's gonna take you more time. So it's better to just take a smaller section. It doesn't have to sit in the heat as long because the heat just it gets through it much quicker. If you've got a big old wad of hair on there, it can't get through and it's gonna come out looking like crap. Just gonna smooth out these ends. Okay, I think that's all. Am I missing any? No. Alrighty, back to it. This is the side that's god-awful. See the difference? See the difference? That's a big difference, right? Just clumpy prom curls versus nice big waves. This is why you can't curl from the bottom up. On to the next. See this parting there? So I'm just gonna come up the same distance apart, across the back, Okay, here's another point. I'm just going to do this side and across the back, and here's why. My hair parts right there, right in the middle of this section, okay? So I want to kind of attack this section off of the part. That way I get more height up there. This is so unattractive. So I'm gonna leave this out and I'll show you why in a minute. One other thing too, I'm just thinking as I'm doing this, and I'll just have to like slow down and speed up this video. But one other thing, this is just me personally, like I know a lot of people want to do this differently. I know that like speaking like about natural hair patterns and like how your hair would actually grow if it were curly, a lot of people like to alternate the way that they curl. So like they might curl one section away from their face, the next section towards their face, the next section away, the next section towards, so they alternate. And I totally get that, like that's how hair would naturally grow out of your head. The thing to keep in mind with that is if you keep alternating and changing, the hair is going to lay on top of itself. Like they're never going to kind of smooth and like join together. Your hair is going to grow out. It's not going to kind of meld together. That's the word I was looking for. So it may look more natural, and if you don't have a ton of hair, if you have like fine hair, maybe that's something you might want to try to get a little bit more body. But if you want your hair to kind of like meld together and have it, the waves kind of like all meld, you'll want to continue curling your hair the same way. So like that's why I curl all this hair away from my face and all this hair away from my face, and then they all kind of fold together in the back. But that's one more thing you can do. If you have fine hair, you can do that. It just doesn't meld together as much. It kind of builds up upon each other. So that's just something else to keep in mind. Alright, so I'm going to smooth out the ends. This one I just did, still hot tamale. Smoothing that one out. I just look for them to kind of like fall. You can, because the hair is still in its like little clump. So now a couple of tricks for the top, because this is really where you're going to get your volume or not. So what I like to do, since hair school, is take this section at the crown, just one horizontal section like this. Pull that forward, pin this out of your way. And I think that's, oh, I might have to set, you have to get a pretty thin section here, but it just will take a second. Get that out of the way. Do I have a, oh, come on now, Katie. Do I have a brush? Do I own a brush? I own a comb. Good enough. Okay. Just want to get it somewhat smooth. So I like to take the flat iron right in here at the root and flat iron it either straight up or even a little bit forward. So coming in, I just hit the root like this. That way, when it falls, it's got a little lift. You see that? So that section is good. Let me do this next one here. You'll see as you progress up the head how that makes a difference. The other thing is too, is it gives your hair a little shine at the root, which I like. So you just kind of flat iron that straight up. All right. I'm gonna section this out. So that's why I leave this top section off the part. That way I can come in and do that at the root and get a little lift. Then I kind of divide it haphazardly, so I don't make a straight part and curl all this hair on this side and all this hair on that side. I just kind of pull a little bit each way. That way it's not like a perfect part that's like, you know? Sometimes you just have to use sound effects. There's not a word for what I was trying to say, so you just get, that's all I got. Probably just go ahead and hit these guys with the flat iron. That one and that one. Okay. This is what I mean by, like, you should be able to kind of grab and find the section that, if it falls on top of the previously curled hair, it should kind of just sit there, you know? Like, you can easily find it. I think I've reached that point. I've had too much coffee. I think I've arrived. I'm getting hot. It's not good. Yeah, that's right. Check out my portable fan. Alright, I'm just going to hit these guys with the flat iron. I don't know why I keep saying hit it. Hit it. Alright. Now we'll take the next section. Okay. So if you kind of come forward like this, we're putting a little bump up in there. A little 2018 bump it. That one there. Starting to look crazy. Okay, so here's a good example. Like, I was totally curling this right, but then I accidentally clamped the end in, and now I've got this, and I don't like that. So I'm just gonna take the end, find the end. Just hold it, there you go. You can see that, right? Yeah. And I'm just gonna pull it out straight. All better. Okay. I'm going to continue doing the same thing with the flat iron on these. Almost done though, super close to being done. Hallelujah. Okay. Bumping it, bumping it. I've got to figure out a way to make this video not last so long. Sweet baby Jesus, you guys are going to be like, okay, get it, I'm over it. Whatever though, I'm new to this, so bear with me. You can see like the good curls laying on top of the ugly curls now. Especially this one, yuck. That bad boy, and this bad boy. Okay. All right, home stretch. I'm just gonna do one more section. Oh my God, it is so nice to have that out of my face. Oh, actually, I'm just gonna do both of these real quick. These little small sections. Get the flat iron in there. Alright, I'm going to take this. This part matters big time. You want to make sure that this like last section is done real good. So the key is to this is not putting the iron right up at your scalp. On this last piece around your face, do not, for the love of all things holy, put this in at the root and curl it like right at your root, okay? What you want to do is put it in pretty close to the root and pull out. If you've got little hairs like this, pull them out because you don't want them to get a weird kink and be curled like right at the end or something. So pull those out. I am so sorry for the sound effects. I like don't have any idea of how to like communicate without using side effect or sound effects, so forgive me. Okay, so you want to put it in at the root fast, just like a little boop, and then see, why can I not, I can't, oh my god, I'm so annoying. Okay, so I'm holding it away from, what is that, 2 inches? We'll call it 2 inches away from the scalp. That's where we're going to feed the hair through. We're doing the same thing, just not at the root, because if you do it straight up at the root, this at the very, very top, right around your face, it's going to look ridiculous. So I'm feeding it through, I'm leaving those little hairs out. What is this? Okay. All right. Cool. Flat iron that puppy and that one. All right, now for these little baby hairs, just gonna take them and I'm gonna like swiftly move through that. So just clamp it, roll it back while pulling it down. You want like a little bend in there, but not much. Okay. I'm going to divide this into 2 pieces. This one I'm going to put in closer to the root because it's not the last piece right on my hairline. So I'm not, that doesn't matter. This one is the one that you have to, just these front pieces are the ones you have to be careful of. Because if you pull it back off the root like that, it kind of gives you this like side swept movement right there. If you curl it up at the top, it's going to be like curled up here, not like soft and kind of pushing back, if that makes any sense at all. Okay, again, pull the little hairs out. This all seems like, oh my god, so tedious, but once you do it a few times, it just becomes like habit. So I'm going to put it in at the root quickly, slide it down 2 inches away, and do all the curling and feeding through 2 inches off of my scalp. Okay, so I'm not feeding the iron back down to my scalp here around my face. Just slide it up so it stays taut. This one might not have curled so hot. I'm gonna have to redo that one. Okay. All right. I just keep looking at this hair with just complete and utter disappointment underneath here because it's so ugly. Ugh. This does not look good. Alright. Now for the little baby hairs, I'm going to clamp them and move it on back. You kind of just want to move the iron like you want the hair to go. There's a longer piece here, so I'm going to do that separately. You don't want to curl your hair like, you don't want to curl a bunch of hair that has all different lengths in it, because the shorter lengths are going to have just like a little curl at the end and the longer lengths are going to look prettier. So break it down into like the actual lengths and curl it that way. Okay. I think I didn't, yeah, no, I didn't do the iron on these. Okay, cool. Finally. All right, so now that all the hair is in its little like clumpies that it was curled in, now you're just gonna run your hands through. You don't wanna run your hands through the curls until they're cooled. So the iron, you know, your hair's hot after the iron. You wanna wait until it's cooled down. That way your hair is holding the curl. Okay. See the curl? This is what we want. Let me take this hair and flip it over and show you what it looks like if you don't curl it this way. Do you see the difference? That's a big difference. Let me layer this back on top of it. Even though like I did the top the right way, it's still not laying pretty together. See how it's not like melding together? It's kind of like all sitting on top of each other. It's not really blending together. It doesn't look as good on this side like it does on this side, because these curls are just piled on top of half-ass curls. So let me try, now that I've brushed through it, let me flip all this over here. Big difference. Big difference. The curl is not, it's just, the curl just, I mean, I don't really know how else to say it. The curl sucks. It's because it was all wound up from the bottom, like this, all the curl is right here. None of this got curled, really, because it was wound on top of hair, on top of hair. So the heat didn't get through here. So this is what you're left with. Is it the worst thing ever? I mean, no. It looks like I did something. But does it look good? No. Let me flip it back. Okay. This is what you get when you do it the other way. Turn towards the better light. I wonder if I can, nah, I'm not gonna. I was gonna say maybe I would try to flat iron it into submission, but it's livable. But I really wanted to try to make that point, like how much different it looks if you don't curl it. Like if you don't curl it the way that I was showing you, it won't last. You just don't get the same style. So anyway, I really hope this is helpful for everybody. I've been meaning to do a video like this for, I literally don't even know how long, probably since I've been doing hair. I mean, I said I was going to do it when I worked at Aveda at Hull. So, God, 2, 5, 6, maybe 7 years I said I was going to do a video. Here it is, finally. Better late than never. So yeah, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. I'm going to put it on YouTube, so that's probably redundant because you're probably watching this on YouTube. But give it a thumbs up, and I would love any other suggestions of hairstyles to try to do a tutorial on, as long as it's nothing asinine like some kind of crazy cornrow thing. Like, I'm not your girl for that. But if there's something out there that's you want to see a tutorial on, send me a picture, make a suggestion, and I would love to do it because these are fun. I actually really enjoyed doing this, despite the fact that I was like, oh, I don't want to do a video of myself. It's really not that bad, so I hope it helps. Send me any questions, subscribe, thumbs up, toodles.